the Triumph bobber. Twin exhausts kind of heated up. I was very close to it, and you have to be very careful while you're getting up, because if you touch the exhaust, it's gonna be bad news for you. Single seater, classic, very low seat height. It's not that I'm very comfortable with the riding position because I'm not used to something like this, but honestly it's not that bad. Clutch in, Triumph rule, and we're gonna okay, so it has that integrated sort of system. So there is traction control and all that. Hazard lights are off for now. 6 gears, 1 down, 5. Okay, where are the foot pegs? They're there. Just like a commuter bike, riding position is unique. The foot pegs are front set. The upper body, because of the very low and flat handlebars, is kind of cramping me up already because I'm not used to this riding position. Is it comfortable? If you say right off the block, it's not one of the most comfortable riding positions. The foot pegs are way too front for me, and the handlebar is kind of like a Street Fighter naked, so it's not a great combination, so to speak. You know, these type of bikes, they kind of represent an old era, an era where they still hadn't figured out ergonomics as they're figured out on modern bikes. Thing is definitely a looker. When you're city riding 40-45 kilometers per hour, you'd get attention on this bike. There's no doubt about that. Bar end mirrors, round console, gives that sort of old world feel, but this is what I like about Triumph. They have the full looks of a retro classic bike, and then we have a road mode. It actually has riding modes. I don't know whether we can change it while we are riding. We can press it and hold. The bike will go to rain mode. Just one press, and now it's showing rain. That means it has traction control, and internally this is a modern motorcycle. Very little vibration. Riding on a 1200cc twin cylinder bike. If you're thinking about the power, well, let's test it out. Oh my god, this is powerful. This is powerful. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. You know, mammoth amount of torque, and I'm like, this is a cruiser bike. This is a classic cruiser bike. And then I realized that we've got rain mode and road mode, which means internally they've put in all of the modern stuff. And then I'm like, what does this bike do? Let's open up the throttle and let's see how gradual the acceleration is. And then I realized that this is not exactly a gradual bike. You open it, the power delivery is so smooth, and that engine sound, I mean, I'll just do it again. Can you guys hear that? That's absolutely the perfection in classic exhaust notes. You have to make this bike sing. It's a perfect cruiser. It's got a ton of torque. It's 104 Newton meters coming down at just 4,000 RPM. So it feels really nice when you're doing 60 to 80, just sitting on the highway, enjoying the torque. And then you're like, nah, I'm just getting bored, and I want to open up the throttle. And it's like, whoa! Does it corner? Let's find out. Surprisingly good handling for such a type of bike. Now I knew these boulders are there, so I didn't want to push it too much, and the local residents here, they're not really very biker friendly because of certain people doing stunts in this area. Honestly, this is a motorcycle that I underestimated. This 76 PS coming at 6,000 RPM. I was like, well, I can handle that, but it doesn't scare you. The power delivery is very, very smooth, very beginner friendly, so to speak. But it's good enough to put a smile on your face. It's good enough to do those highway. Oh, see that bump? See that bump? Right? That thing is there. I was kind of skeptical about its practicality. You see those Harleys? I was riding the, I forgot the name, it was a Sportster, I believe. On that bike, there was this styling, and I thought that people might want to buy it because of the styling. And it looked really, really nice, the Harley. But when you think about it from the riding comfort and everything, that wasn't really that practical, and I've said that in the review. But if you're wanting that classic styling but you still want something modern, you got rain mode, like a power mode, and all internally this is a modern motorcycle. No vibrations that I can feel, smooth, nice power delivery. It feels very premium. Everything on this bike, even the riding feel, is very premium. And I was kind of worried about the ergonomics initially, not that comfortable. I said, I'm taking it back. Once you've got the hang of it, you can sit upright, just let your hand there, and it becomes, I can do a couple of 100 kilometers at a stretch on this bike. I wouldn't break a sweat. Bike is good enough for cornering, don't get me wrong, but when you're talking about whether we can have fun on this, the obvious answer is yes. Is that it doesn't really matter which gear you're on. Even if you're on a wrong gear, you'd still get enough pulling power, and that's because of the mammoth torque and also a very wide power band. When you have a 1200cc motorcycle making only 76 odd bhp, that means that the motorcycle is a relaxed tune, and which basically means you can get a lot of great power band. All over the power band you can get a very smooth sort of delivery instead of a sport bike, which a 1200cc sport bike, definitely different construction and engine and all that, but I'm just talking about the power delivery here, don't get me wrong. It'll have a narrower power band, and it'll be very exciting, more exciting than this bike obviously. But on the highway, when you're today, I'm not in the mood to go full berserk on the motorcycle. Now I'm doing a U-turn. Surprisingly easy to do a U-turn. I was expecting that being one of these bikes, it will not have that kind of a turning radius. It does have a very good turning radius, almost like a street bike, maybe a little bit less. So this time I won't be so forgiving. I'll be rocking that bike. I'm doing loop 2, and this time I'm more interested. Now, last time I talked about the power delivery is smooth, and it's coming on. The bike's not running out of gas even at 140. I feel it will be starting to run off gas after 160 or something, which is fine. And the other thing that I slowed down to talk about, the brakes, of course, adjustable brake and clutch levers on this bike, very nice, very customizable. The clutch and brake lever, it's kind of feels like high quality billet aluminum. Premium is like an understatement. About 10 lakhs on ex-showroom, I think. This is an expensive bike. You don't expect anything lesser than that. When motorcycles try to go all classic, they sometimes miss out on functionality. This doesn't do that. And I guess this is why a lot of people are coming to these modern classics. I mean, you have the styling of the classic if that's your kind of thing. But when you're going for the braking and all that, it will not have that 70s bike braking feel. The braking on this bike is phenomenal for the kind of power it has, for the kind of weight it has. The braking works just fine. And another thing is, being a classic bike, you have to use the rear brake, but I was doing front brake only, and good amount of bite and an eventual progression in the braking kind of gives me the confidence to push harder. Oh my god, 160 without a sweat. It's slight buzz in the mirrors. Pretty functional mirrors for bar ends. You know, round, they show you a lot of things, not at all elbow viewing. I like that. I mean, this is probably the first time I'm finding that I've got bar end mirrors and they're actually functional. With this kind of braking, you know, you can push it, and unfortunately my corner is blocked this time. I'll still take a try. I don't know, probably shouldn't be doing this because my exit's blocked. Well, it is a nice bike, so I can play around with it. This time I know the position of the stones. Yeah, very, very confident and clear braking. If I'm gonna do some panic braking on this bike, I will know that this will stop. Obviously has ABS and everything, so but the brake feel in itself, it's not gonna be like it's gonna lock up or you're only depending upon the ABS. When you're braking down from a higher speed, you're obviously pretty confident about it. So overall, I'm really happy with this bike. Overall, I'm really happy what it can do. I'm not sure of the weight of this bike, but this definitely feels a lot better than the Street Twin. I mean, I could understand that the Street Twin was a really nice cross-country motorcycle. Probably ergonomics was better than this, but it wasn't really that fun. Opening up the throttle really didn't do much for me while I was riding the Twin. On this one, you know, you're compromising a bit on the ergonomics, but on the other hand, you're getting fun. For people who are like weekend riders, not you're doing a couple of 100 kilometers, 300 kilometers ride on the weekend, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't buy this. Suspension is slightly on the harder side, especially the rear. The front, pretty good. It has enough firmness that I like, because in the corners it's holding in. But when I'm going over the bumps, it's not that I'm being rocked or anything. Yeah, after 160, the bike seems to be losing its grunt. That's there after 160, but till 160, you know, it's going there very strongly. After 160, it's kind of losing out of steam. It'll still go to about 180 plus if you take my estimates. And being a fully low down bike, no care at all for aerodynamics, the wind blast is pretty good, pretty strong wind blast on this bike, and you expect nothing less out of a bike like this. I don't know where my friends are. It seems like seems to have lost them. Like, I love this bike. This is for a lot of riders, you know, probably buying their first cruiser, and they don't want to be like that all vibration and everything. I mean, if you haven't taken a test drive, I don't want you to take my word for it. If you're seriously looking for a bike like this, because not everyone, no matter how good this bike is, not everyone will be looking for getting a bike like this. Yeah, they're fine. That's good. I was kind of worried about them. Anyways, I hope I got everything correctly. I've been recording constantly. For me, you know, if you're looking for a bike like this, and don't take my word for it, go out there, try to get a test drive. I'm sure you'll love this bike. There's nothing to hate about this bike. If you're looking for more power, for 10 lakhs, there are other options. So the Triumph Street 765s coming in. It'll be lighter, it'll have a lot more power, a lot better on the handling and everything. So if you're looking for power, look elsewhere. But if you're looking for that classic heritage look, it gets you a lot of attention, is fun to ride on the highways, and with every modern thing like traction control and a rain mode, which is gonna take care of the power, give you smoother intake and stuff like that. If you're looking for that, this is the bike you want. Rider modes, hazard lights, engine kill switch. This is the information display, so that they can show a lot of different type of information just through that console. Brilliant overall bike. If you're looking for something like this, go take a test drive. Don't take my word for it. I'm sure you'll love it. That's it for the first impression. I hope you liked this short first impression. We'll try to do a full review, but I'm not really sure about that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you very, very soon. This is Rahul. Goodbye.